I swear it was like last month that we were covering this garden with garbage. And we're gonna do it again. We've got lots of projects that we're working on today, but one of them that I've been the most, I guess, excited about, been waiting the most for, is this air layering that we did of these lilacs. We're gonna go and cut that off and peel back some of the soil, see if we've actually got some roots in there, see how things turned out. I've already prepared a spot to put it in the ground if it looks good, so we're gonna go check it out and see how that goes. Don't know who that was. So this is our air layering that we did. This is the part that we'll be cutting off. All this up here is still green. If you don't remember us putting that on there, I'll put a link in the description below. You can go back and look how we did this. We're just going to cut this off and then we'll go and check it out, see how it looks. Hopefully, that'll be a brand new plant. So we're trying to hide from the wind a little bit. It's a windy day, but that kind of puts us in the front of the house where there's the traffic. So hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. But we're gonna start opening this up. We're just gonna take all that off of there. A little ladybug friend. We're gonna pull all that off of there and see what kind of roots we have in there. It's full of ladybugs. I'm not sure if you can see in there. There's a whole bunch of them. So you can see, get a little bit better light for us. So you can see I made my cut here and here, so I left that little piece right there exposed. That's where it was supposed to grow roots. It's probably from this top part up there. And if you can see, there's not a root to be found on there, not even a callus forming. Stayed good and wet, didn't dry out at all. So that was a complete failure. The one thing that I didn't do that probably would have helped quite a bit is put any root stimulator on there. As I've looked into it, they say that it will root without any stimulator, but this one obviously didn't. I mean, there's no signs at all whatsoever of any root. So that one didn't work. We'll have to try again another time. I was really hoping that would work because I've got a whole bunch of things that I want to do that with. According to other videos I've watched and articles I've read, it usually happens in about 8 weeks, and by 5 or 6 weeks you should at least be seeing some signs of rooting. There is absolutely nothing on this one. So we're gonna call that one a failure. Try again next year, I guess. Today is August 31st. Yes, it is August. The temperature is currently 53 degrees. Tonight it's supposed to be 35, which means we are likely going to get a frost, which, if we do nothing, will kill our garden, which is right in the middle of producing everything. So, I swear it was like last month that we were covering this garden with garbage. And we're gonna do it again. Try to save as much of this garden as we can. Luckily, we don't have to cover as much this time. So we're gonna run through a few things and see what we gotta cover here. So everything down there should be fine. We don't need to cover any of that. Peas are done, beans are done. The potatoes will be killed back by the frost, but that's actually good for them The beets should survive okay. The lettuce has gone nuts and we don't care about it anymore. Onions will be fine. The carrots will actually sweeten up with a little bit of frost, which will be great. The tomatoes, on the other hand, have got to be covered. We've gotten like 2 tomatoes off of this, and I bet we have like 200 green tomatoes still on there. So that one's definitely going to be covered. Peppers are loaded right now, so they've got to be covered. We just got done picking everything off the corn, so we're not worried about that. This row, I don't even know what we're doing with any of it. Celery, we're not sure what's going on with that. The cauliflower never produced anything. Broccoli is already flowered. Brussels sprouts out on the other end, they never did anything either. Spinach already done. The kale should be fine. And the Swiss chard, we're kind of done with it. It's kind of overgrown now. All our spices okay. We got a bunch of dill down there still. I don't know if it'll survive or not. There's some cilantro at the end, but I don't know that it'll survive either, but it'll be fine if we don't get any of that. But then we've got this sea of squash with a big thistle in the middle. But all of that squash everywhere has got to be covered up somehow, or it will be dead. So that's going to be the biggest chore, is to figure out that squash. It is producing like crazy right now, but nothing is ready yet. It's just a little bit behind. And this is super early for a frost. I mean, we're talking almost a month early. And then on Saturday, it's supposed to be 92 degrees again. So we're getting a frost and some 90-degree weather all in the same week. So, Andrea and the kids, they went to the museum earlier today. They haven't gotten back yet. So, while I'm waiting for them to get back, I'm going to start getting to work on this and see if I can get some stuff covered. On a side note, I guess the middle of last week, I noticed, you can see right over my shoulder here, some trees they're cutting down. You can see that little orange truck right there. Just off in the distance, I noticed a company was cutting trees. So I called them up and said, hey, what are you doing with those wood chips? And they said, nothing. And there they are, a mountain of wood chips. So we are going to use that. I mean, this thing is huge. See if we can get you a good view of what all there is there. Look at the size of that thing. That is going to fill our whole garden. So we're going to mulch with that this fall. As soon as this garden is done, which might be after tonight, we'll see. We're going to put the goats in here first, let them clean up a bunch, and then we're going to follow that with chickens, let them clean it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to cover the whole thing with those wood chips and see what that does for keeping our weeds down and getting some good mulch in here to keep our soil from drying out, and hopefully that gets us a little bit better garden next year. We'll show more on that later though. Right now we're going to start covering this garden. put this chicken wire around the edge of the fence here on the outside of the garden. The ducks were supposed to eat all that down. For the life of me, I couldn't keep those ducks in there. So it was kind of a short experiment that I gave up. I think the ground was just too uneven, and I didn't have time to even it out and get everything really secure. And so we gave up on that. But here in probably a month or so, we'll have the cows back in here and they'll get this all taken care of. I don't think we'll have to worry about it growing out here again after the cows are in here. A lot of this is growing just because I shoveled the manure back, or the straw and stuff, for the cows' bedding so that we could get that fence put in. But now that that fence is there, this will build up pretty quick and we won't have any more weeds on this side. We'll just have to worry about it on the other side of the fence where the garden is, but hopefully that mulch will take care of it and we'll have a lot less weed pressure on this fence line. Another project that I've been working on that I have not captured well on camera is this fence we're building right here. You can see these posts here coming across. There currently is no fence through there. We've ended the fence just down where it's right there. Where that fence ended where we were working last time. Now I'm extending it up so that we connect this post here down to the edge of the garden right down there. That one there, and we'll connect those two together. That's going to be the back of our corral where we will keep the cows this winter. We keep the cows in a pretty tight quarters in the winter because we don't have anything for them to eat anyway except for the hay that we've got hauled in, and so they don't need anywhere to roam, and it keeps it a lot easier for them to stay in. If we got a bigger area, then there's a lot more fence line that they can get out of. And so that's where we will keep them kind of penned up this winter.
Wake up slowly, still and softly. Let the looming torment still till break of day. All you weeping, feeble, easy. When you see the feeling you swore.
I'm gonna need some help with that one. Gonna go find me some reinforcements. Probably come back after dinner. Last night I didn't have a chance to record us putting those last tarps on there. We ended up getting in there pretty late after we got the kids to bed, and so it was dark. But I wanted to come out this morning and just show you how ridiculous this is. Our temperature so far has only gotten down to 36, so it looks like we likely won't get any frost. But we got the garden covered anyway, and it looks pretty silly. So I'm just gonna show you a quick video of it. Look at the dog. It's kind of a warm spot. As far as there's been composting a little bit, it got wet when they were cutting it, so it's hot. She's sleeping on top of the hot compost pile. Smart dog.
As you see her sinking from shore, so wait for the morning flood, wait till the glory comes, wait for the morning.
Now that the sun has come out a little bit, I can see spots where the frost is on the grasses, and so probably a good thing we got everything covered. We'll see a little bit later today what kind of damage it actually did to the garden, how much we actually lose. I don't think we'll lose anything that we wanted to keep, but some of the stuff that we didn't cover we'll probably lose a little bit of. It's been a couple days since we had that frost, so I want to come out and just check on these plants a little bit and see how they turned out. And as I look at them, most of them look just fine, but it must have been a really spotty frost because there's just a couple spots that got it. I'll show it to you. It's got one little spot right there. You can even see that. Over on this one. See just a little bit of damage there. So as far as the tomatoes go, that's all that they got. Just that little tiny bit of frost. We'll go over and, whoa, sun's bright. We'll go over and look at the squash and see what happened to them. Same thing with them. You can see just a little touch damage here and there. Nothing major. I lost a few leaves here and there. Mind you, this was covered up. Had we not covered it up, we may have lost all of it. Doesn't look too bad. A little bit of stuff here and there. The one thing I thought would all die off would be these beans. As you can tell, they're completely untouched by it. So, guess they're a little more hardy than the squash are. So I've still been working on this fence. You can kind of see it over my shoulder there. That's the end, running up that way. This is the last little bit of fence that I've got to do for this summer, and then next summer we'll get into more. But I've got one last piece of that used wire that we've done with everything else. And so I want to see if that will be long enough for this piece here. So we're going to drag that out and see how it looks. Lots of room to spare. We got tons of extra. We're going to take our time getting this fence up. We don't have a rush like we've had with a lot of the other fence. We still have probably a month before we'll have to get it in completely. So that's probably, I might do a little bit this weekend, but that's probably most of this that we'll get this week. We're gonna be hauling some wood in for our fireplace this weekend. But today, we're gonna go get this little girl some dinner. She has been, well, she came home from school with a headache. She hasn't been sick, but she came home from school with a headache, fell asleep on the couch while everybody else went to soccer games. So it's me and her. I stayed home with her. You ready to go get some dinner? Whatever. Whatever. You want to eat a goat? And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.